It's senseless. It is. We've got to stop it. And we have to end this epidemic of gun violence in our country once and for all.
Senator, I really wish that we were on here to continue to talk about the Russian propaganda scheme, but we're not. We're here to talk about an American epidemic, an epidemic that's been going on for decades in this country. You represent a state and citizens suffered a tragic loss that endures each and every day. The frustration level that you must be dealing with in terms of trying to get something done finally. How do you do it? How do you deal with the frustration level in a country, in a government where the saying majority rules is a joke? Majority rules doesn't happen.
Yeah, I listened to that clip and hear this wonderful sentiment that love is going to prevail, hate will not prevail. Well, that's not true if you look your kid in the eye and tell them that you're going to do nothing about the fact that 14-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds can get their hands on a weapon, the AR-15, that is literally designed to assassinate as many people as quickly as possible. It's not a coincidence that all of these mass shooters turn to the same weapon. They pick that weapon up because that weapon is literally designed for mass slaughter. You don't need that weapon to hunt. You don't need that weapon to protect your home. You need that weapon if you want to commit mass murder. And part of the reason that these shootings continue to happen, part of the reason that these shootings continue to be so lethal is because states like Georgia have made a decision to put the profits of the gun industry ahead of the health and safety of our kids. That is not love. My kid yesterday called me and told me that coincidentally, his school went into lockdown. His public high school went into lockdown yesterday because of a bomb threat. I asked him, how all this makes him feel watching the scenes in Georgia, living through another lockdown. And he kind of shrugged it off. He just said, we're used to it, right? We're used to the idea that when we go to school every day, there's a chance we may not come back. That kind of baked in trauma is part of what explains why our kids are having so much trouble today. It's not just social media, it's the constant threat of violence that we choose to inject into their lives. So we got a choice this election. Kamala Harris stood up on stage yesterday and told you she's going to make this a priority. She's going to work to ban these AR-15s. She's going to work to make sure that everybody goes through a background check before they buy a gun. Donald Trump went up on stage a couple months ago and told you that not only is he going to do nothing, he's going to repeal the progress that we have made. Mass shootings are actually down this year compared to last year. I know it doesn't feel that way, but it's true because we passed a law 2 years ago with Kamala Harris's support that makes it a little bit harder for bad people to get their hands on guns. Donald Trump says he's going to go backwards to the days where we had even fewer protections for our kids. So it's just a choice. You want to stop these mass shootings? You got Kamala Harris who says she's going to make this a priority. You got Donald Trump who says that he's going to put the profits of the gun industry first. That's an election issue that a lot of parents are going to pay attention to this November.
Senator, good morning. It's good to see you. Yeah, you're right. We were talking earlier. I have 2 teenagers as well. The extent to which this doesn't shock them is the most shocking part, that they've grown up in this environment where this is a possibility. We always hear in these shootings, in a case like this, a young kid who's not old enough to buy a gun by law, the defeatism, which is, what are you going to do? His dad had guns, many of them owned legally. The kid got access. He was a troubled young man, got access, went to school and shot. We shouldn't punish all gun owners because one kid who was troubled found his dad's gun. What do you say to those kind of arguments?
So listen, I always think it's difficult to make policy based on one particular shooting. In this case, it looks like the young man got his hands on his parents' gun, but there are plenty of other mass shootings where a young man walked into a gun store and walked out with a weapon. There are plenty of instances where the owner of the firearm pulled the trigger, and we could have either denied that individual the gun, or we could have had a red flag law that allowed somebody to take that gun away. But here is a policy that can work. In Connecticut, we've got a safe storage law. We actually require parents who have young kids in the house to lock up their weapons. And there's a penalty if you don't. Georgia doesn't have that law. So it isn't as if there aren't interventions that would make a difference. I always think it's a mistake to make policy based on one mass shooting. But whether it be background checks, whether it be strong red flag laws, whether it be banning the weapons, whether it be requiring parents to lock up the weapons, it's not as if we have a shortage of policies. It's not as if we don't know what to do. We know what to do. It's just states like Georgia, run by Republicans, run by Donald Trump supporting Republicans, choose to do nothing because they care about the gun industry more than they care about the health of our kids. And that's just a choice for voters. You want to continue to have the gun industry in charge of your state? You want to continue to have these shootings happen? Go continue to elect people that advertise to you they're going to do nothing. Or you could choose to support people who go out there and run for election and tell you that they're going to put our kids' safety first.
Yeah. Yeah. And like the senator said, I mean, these are choices. And you talk to, again, I grew up around gun owning, God-fearing Americans who believed in, not only believed, but they practiced safe storage, and they believe in universal background checks. Overwhelming majority of Americans do. The majority of Republicans do. The majority of gun owners do believe in universal background checks and red flag laws. In all of these things, in safe storage laws. I mean, there's so many things where Americans are united that would make a difference, at least on the margins. And yet, a small subset of extremists, lobbyists in Washington, D.C., impact an entire party. And we continue to have these stories on TV.
Democratic Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut, thank you for everything you've done on this issue.
And our children live in fear.
Yes, they do.
And Senator, your children asked you, my children asked me yesterday. And as Kamala Harris said, this is a choice. This is a choice
I don't see the argument.
Republicans are making.
Yeah, and this election, those young people are going to have a chance to come out and say something about it. So hopefully you will see parents and kids turning out in this election at high numbers to demand that candidates running from president down to candidates running for state legislature choose to put in place, as you mentioned, interventions that are supported by 80 to 90% of Americans that will make our kids' lives better. It is a choice we make every single day. It's a different choice we can make after this election.